Hello, everybody. Andrew Gate and Tom Fox here, back again for another episode around leadership. Today, we are joined with Mr. Zach Riffett, current co-chair of the Leadership Kerr County Steering Committee. Zach, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, glad to be here. So today, what we're going to cover is we're going to talk a little bit about your experience, Zach, with leadership, but also we're going to discuss this upcoming class, which will be class number 38 here for Leadership Kerr County for the fall and next spring semester. So applications, I believe, are due August 1st, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. So why don't you kick us off by telling us a little bit about your experience of getting involved with leadership and what your experience was like during your class of leadership.
Sure. Yeah. I was part of class 31 so far, yet so close, it seems, on going through the class. And it was a 9-month course and got to meet some great people, got to learn. And I think that's what majority of people, why they join, is to try to get a little bit more details on where they live, a little bit more ins and outs of the government or economically or education. I know that was the primary reason why I decided to participate, was just to learn more, being new, not from the hill country, not really knowing anything at all. And as I said, it was a valuable experience for me just to be able to go in depth and learn about it. And we had a great steering committee, so had a great example of trying to be good stewards of the community and being a good citizen and things like that. But yeah, just some lifelong relationships came out of it, and still communicate with those folks today and help each other's businesses, and just, as you said, just being a good friend. So yeah, business and personal satisfaction coming out of the program.
I think that I can vouch for that, because some of my first experience with you, and I think some of your classmates even, was I joined a board that some of you guys were on.
Mm-hmm.
Your class in particular, I think, did a really good job being prominent and getting involved in the community after the fact.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that it was really a challenge, or not a mandate, but just more of a challenge from that current leadership committee at that time, was what's next. You go through the class, and that's something that I know, being on the committee yourself, that's something that we've pushed on. The class is the stepping stone. This gives you the information to go out into the community to make it better. So what's that next step? Is it joining a board? Is it getting involved in a zoning committee or something like that within local government? Or politically, getting into the political side, city council, whatever. I think one of your classmates just got elected to city council, Jeff Harris.
Yeah.
So again, it's how are you going to engage this after the class? What are you going to do next? I think that's where my classes, I think majority of us have all run through the steering committee, but I know we've all joined multiple boards.
Yeah, y'all are involved.
Yeah.
Isn't one of your classmates one of the ones that kind of helped start the economic summit too? Wasn't that in your class?
Myself, Brian Bowers, I'm going to forget the names. Myself, Brian Bowers, but there were Colby Yoli. There were 5 or 6 of us from my class that started the economic summit to try to continue those conversations where we felt like we needed information, or the community needed information specifically about hill country economics. Yeah, I'm going to think of the names as we're talking.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a shining example, I think, because we've attended that event. Tom, you've even been there with me the last 1 or 2 years, and so we enjoy attending that event as a business person here in Kerrville. Tom?
Sure, Zach. Where are you from?
Brenham, Texas, born and raised.
I'm from Bryan.
Okay, all right, you're familiar.
Where'd you go to college?
Boston University.
And what brought you to the hill country?
Work. So I was with Edward Jones working off of 620 in Lake Travis, but I was commuting from Georgetown. And so ultimately the hustle and bustle of that part of West Austin and that area, too expensive, too busy. Growing up in Brenham and that quality of life, that's something I wanted to get my daughter back to and have that experience with small town life and small town folks and values. Took an opportunity to move my business from that Lake Travis area down to Kerrville, and I've been here 10 years.
What's your business?
I'm a financial planner with Jones.
And how would you say, I'm a transplant myself.
Okay.
So how would you say to the person considering Leadership Kerrville, why is it important for transplants, I guess the 3 of us, to become involved in something like Leadership Kerrville, and how has it really helped you to not simply understand the community, but you've talked about the friendships and professional relationships you've made, but also gives you an opportunity to really see where you can make an impact in Kerrville?
I think just like everything, even speaking of business, and I know Andrew, we're happy competitors. There's plenty of business, but I respect Andrew and Gilbert and what they do, and there's plenty of business for all of us. But just as we get to know our clients, we've got to get to know our clients before we can help them. If we're trying to make an impact, we got to understand and learn, where we're most passionate about in the community, where we can feel like we can make an impact, stuff we like, stuff we don't like. Just like for me, for my nonprofit work and things like that, mental health is very important to me. I've been a part of a number of other boards, between PTO to United Way to economic chamber committees and things like that, things that really interest me, things that I can add value to. But again, it's just the Leadership Kerr County program is important to understand more about the community that you're in, gather that information, and figure out where you can add the most value, because you've got to be interested in what you're doing in order to make the most impact. If you're not going to be that passionate or motivated about it, odds are you're probably not going to be interested in making that much of an impact. What's great is Kerrville's dynamic. There's a lot of spots where you can help. And one thing, just learning over the years, Kerrville is a very giving community. Doesn't matter what it is. And that's something that I'm lucky to be a part of. But again, I think it's just understanding the importance of it is just learning as much as you can generally. And then from there, again, using the class as a stepping stone to, okay, what's the next step? Where do you feel like you can fit in and help? And if you need to ask more questions, that's great. You have 20 people who went through the class with you to learn more about them, and maybe go work with them on something until you find your path. But I think it's just like anything, understanding the community more before you know which way you want to go. So yeah, I think it's a great community, and happy to try to help.
Yeah. And so if you think, what do you think like you're most excited about for this upcoming class? And I'll tell you where my mind was going with this is last year we saw a nice size class. It was mostly women, strangely enough, but not by design. That just happened.
Yeah.
This year we have some stuff going on where so that created a very interesting dynamic. It was great to see them work together. They had some amazing leaders in there.
Sure.
I'm really excited about all their futures going forward. But we have for Easter Fest, we got the chili cook-off is like changing hands. So that might be tweaked a little bit this year. Where we have some people that are on the steering committee now that we might do some shuffling with some of the days. Is there anything in particular that comes to mind that you're really excited about for this upcoming year?
Well, I think the excitement is always the class.
Seeing who it is,
seeing who applies, seeing why they applied. Because that was one of the things we did this year was we updated the application. We asked some different questions. We felt some of the questions were a little outdated, same questions, but trying to dig in a little bit more as far as why they want to participate.
Sure.
What's their motivation for doing that? So yeah, it's always the people, because the people is what make the class great. The leadership, the committee, the basic structures in place. That part really hasn't changed. The day topics really haven't changed. But I think especially as the steering committee rolls over and new people participate and join our side of it, bring their ideas, bring their contacts for their individual days. It's always interesting to see for like economic day. I've done it 2 years. I've done it for the years I've been on it, and just trying to bring in new people, new voices as businesses come in or as entrepreneurs come in. Okay, how can we get them incorporated? So it's all predicated on the people in the class, and really just seeing them from day one, the morning of when they first roll up, it's
and their guard is up and they don't know anybody and they're being shy.
Nobody's talking as we're walking around getting settled. But then you have the dinner at the end where they get their plaques and everybody's having fun, sitting at tables, having a drink, and just like they're old friends. And I think that progression is always the most exciting to watch and see. So yeah, it's definitely the people, and anxious to see who applies. And every year it never fails where the deadline's approaching and it doesn't seem like we have a bunch of applicants, but then we always get flooded. This last week, we always get the numbers coming in because everybody's gathering their letters of recommendation, finishing up their application and all that. So again, just as a reminder, August 1st is the deadline. We definitely want to encourage people to apply. And as I said, it's just a great experience to really learn more about the community, all the ins and outs of it. And you can help me with this, but we've got Education Day, we've got Local Government Day, we've got a trip to Austin, which I know you planned last year, Government Day, and Economic Day,
Tourism and Travel Day,
nonprofit. So there's
you can't forget about the retreat in the beginning, because that's like such an awesome piece of the experience.
Yeah, and the retreat, and that's where you really break down the guards. That's where you really come up with some good memories, because we do it out at Mo Ranch every year, and they take care of us really well. And the team building activities and seeing them go through ropes courses or little brain teasers and seeing them see how they work together, that little bit of development and breaking their guards down to really become a class. Now, that's when they become a class and really start to learn about each other. And so that part's always exciting. But the retreat is important, and that's always the second or third week of September. But it
starts off with a bang, man.
Yeah, starts off fast. And I can remember just heading into Education Day last year, and we look up and it's already May and we're planning the farewell. So it's fast paced, but you learn a lot. Each month it's one day a month. Yeah. And each month there's a new topic. And I know, at least planning wise, I know we've got some great ideas for next year's class, and trying to find ways to tweak it as current events change, especially economically or local government. Obviously, that's always changing, obviously in Kerrville, and we're definitely got some good ideas for some new topics and speakers and great information for the participants.
Tom, you got anything else to add?
For any listeners who want more information or perhaps apply, what would be the best place for them to go?
They can go to the Leadership Kerr County page on the Chamber of Commerce website. It's kerrvillechamber.biz. And under the programs and initiatives, there's a Leadership Kerr County link there. And they can learn a little bit about the program. They can go through the application, really easy PDF file, and they can go in the expectations on time, the cost, because some people are self-employed who pay it. Some people, their employers pay it. And so, they can go through and fill it out, have a conversation with their employer, and see if it's going to be worth the investment in that company's time and resources. So definitely from a relationship standpoint, from a community standpoint, and knowing and gathering facts from other leadership programs around some of our contiguous counties, they're pretty jealous of what we've got here. We're pretty proud of it, but this isn't just us talking. They're always pretty amazed on what we're doing and how we're doing it, and some of the things that we have our class do that they don't. Yeah. So again, we're, no offense to them, we have a pretty dynamic program here, and so we're fortunate enough to continue it. And I said, myself and Chris Johnson are co-chairs this year. Andrew's part of the steering committee as well. And we've got a great committee this year and some new faces, and can't wait to hear what their ideas are to help make this program better this year. And I know Brad at the Chamber and Pilar, Gregory, that there any contacts or immediate questions, they can reach out to them first as far as the leadership program, and they can fill you in. And if there's any additional questions, they can pass those along to the steering committee, and we're happy to reach out to anybody who's got any questions, or we can fill in any blanks for them.
And the only other thought I would add to that is, if you go around, if you're involved in a business or organization here in the Kerr County area, ask some of your peers and coworkers and other people that there's a good chance that some of them have been through leadership already. Yeah. I discover all the time there's people that, I just ran into one last week. I was like, it was class number 20, whatever. So there's plenty of other perspectives out there. All right, guys, any other closing thoughts? Good?
I will say,
what else?
I will say, Michael Engling and Stephen Mabry were also part of the original Economic Summit. I was thinking in my head, and I'd be remiss to not remember those guys as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Good stuff. Zach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank y'all.
And you guys get out there August 1st. So you got a week. It's about a week from today, from the day that we're filming this, to get your Leadership Kerr County application in for class number 38. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Catch you on the next episode.